That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
People deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. Obviously, Arsenal have defeated Newcastle in a 5-goal thriller, 4-1. Most importantly, we get 3 points. The Emirates was rocking. We played with a swagger. For me personally, no two games are alike. Champions League versus Prem, Porto versus obviously Newcastle. Two very different kind of games. We know how Eddie Howe sets up his teams against us. Credit to Newcastle, what they're doing as a football club, and Eddie Howe. I know they've hit a bump in the road, but it is a good project that they're undertaking. I need to see Jorginho and Rice more often. There's no coincidence here. Declan Rice on the left-hand side, linking up with Kirill and Martinelli. We get a bit more joy off that left-hand side, and we look a bit more of a potent threat. In fact, for large parts of the Newcastle game, in my opinion, for once in a while, we actually looked like the left-hand side was going to be our bread and butter. And obviously, it's a fantastic ball from Jorginho for Martinelli. He clocked Martinelli's run, he squared it. Kai Havertz's movement is great. As I said, there's no two games that are alike, really. So Porto versus Newcastle, every game has its own different story. But if we just take those two games and just look at it at face value, Mikel Arteta put Kai Havertz up front where he's free to roam as almost a false nine, be a target man, press well, get into little argy-bargies with the other team, and all of those other things. Put Jorginho in the middle where Jorginho, deep lying playmaker, conducting and stuff like that. You see a better Declan Rice, you see a better Odegaard, you see more consistency in the middle. And obviously from Raya all the way to Havertz, we look more fluid as a team. I know Jorginho's on the wrong side of 30. I know he has his own injuries. I know Mikel Arteta always says he's carrying knocks, and you saw him come off at the end, he looked spent. But that is the sort of profile midfielder we need. I'm not going to go as far as to say Rice and Jorginho for the end, from now to the end of the season. But I think we need to play on that well, especially where it comes to the games that are like chess matches, the Newcastles, the Manchester Cities, them kind of games, and many more, them kind of games. And I did feel against Porto, in hindsight, he should have started, even though when he came off the bench. But I personally feel them kind of games are Jorginho's. When the game's very open and it's end-to-end, like you saw Chelsea away earlier in the season, probably when he came off the bench and he did make that mistake against Spurs, I don't think they're the games for Jorginho. So let me know your thoughts on Rice and Jorginho together, because I think, them two work very well. Let's see what Mikel Arteta has said post-victory. On our response to the last meeting at St. James's Park, I think we had a great performance. Big credit to the boys. After just half a day to prepare for the game, the way they executed everything, the intensity, the commitment, the determination, the aggression, and the progression, everything that we were doing with the ball, they played with a lot of courage against the team, and we got rewarded. I think we fully deserve to win the game. On, our set piece coach, he said that's for the owner to respond, and if he should get a bonus. The fact that we are scoring goals in various ways from various players as well is really satisfying. We could have scored many more today and kept a clean sheet, which is probably the only disappointment, as well as Smith Rowe not being able to score, and also Martinelli not getting on the score sheet, even though it was more of an encouraging game from him. And we have to continue to do that, keep developing all these things we can still do better, and something we have to improve, obviously, get the players back, which as well we are doing right now. That's going to be really important. On Jorginho's role in big games, he's a top player, especially when the opponent have certain behaviors or certain setup. The way I can imagine the game, he's going to have a big impact. But I think you have to do it at this level. And when he's not playing consistently, credit to him, because he was magnificent today again. On Jorginho and other players hitting their potential peak right now, he's certainly, in brackets, world class. But I think individually today, we were outstanding in the way we played. We raised the bar again. Newcastle are our top side. They are very well coached, and it's very difficult to do what we've done today, to have them in the positions and make them suffer like we've done. So credit to the boys. And I know Newcastle knew they were going to sit back, but they look nervous in the first half. They were giving the ball away. You know, they're playing out from the back. We're picking their pockets when they're going long. I know a couple of times Benjamin White got done by Gordon, but that's football. He won the battles. You know, Benjamin White won his battles. Kyrgios, another encouraging display from him. Saliba and Gabriel mopping up. Even Raya a couple of times putting the ball out for a throw-in and stuff. And obviously, I think the subs, a mixture of us being complacent, a bit of tiredness with us having 2 games to play, you know, the game being said and done, complacency, subs coming on. I think, as well as obviously tactically, I think that led to us conceding personally, people. But yeah, he's right. On a 21-game unbeaten run in the Premier League after coming back from a European game. Thanks for the stat, but really, 21-game unbeaten run? Not sure on that, but yeah, thanks for the stat because I didn't know it. It shows how much we want it, and credit to the staff as well for making all the effort to recover the players. I could sense from the moment that we were in Porto that we were ready for the game. We wanted the game the next day because there was something we could have done much better. It's great to see that reaction. It's great to see the support from the stadium when we go again. It's lovely to get 3 points off Newcastle. Obviously, Porto is to come in the weeks to follow, people. But that's what they say. Sometimes the best in life, that, you know, if you got a girlfriend, sometimes the best thing if you break up is to find another one. Just you get it over and done with. And I think in football, the best way to get over a defeat is a next game coming very early. You know, we've been there at times where we've lost games and you've got a couple of days / a week, maybe even 2 weeks, depending on the fixture calendar list, you know, to dissect and absorb that pain of a result. So yeah, there's going to be many bumps and bruises and twists along the road, but we're doing what needs to be done. He then said the team is hitting form. We are in a good moment. The players individually are performing. It's not any secrets. Things are flowing at the moment. We are scoring goals in various ways and we want more. We scored 1 and we want to go for a 2nd, 3rd and 4th. I love that mentality from the team. On the difference in mentality that helps finish games off, we have to do that because we won a lot of games last year and this year when we deserved more and we generated more. I think today it could have been much more as well, but we have to demand that from ourselves. On what is key to maintaining the current form, maybe we train every day in the best possible way, look after ourselves, and first of all, believe that you can do it. You always improve, you always get better and have players back. The more players we have back, more competition within the team, more alternatives, more players to impact the game, and especially believe that we can do it. Now, again, I want our players back, and it's lovely to see Gabriel Jesus on the bench. You know, you're hoping to wake up one day. Tomiyasu, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Jesus, they're all fit. Obviously, they've all got various different injuries to different severities. Big up Timber as well. But if I'm honest, Jesus has gets injured quite frequently now. Partey, that's the story of his Arsenal career. Tomiyasu, for as much as I like him as well. You know, being devil's advocate, is it the best practice to have these players who, yeah, we've shown we can put results without key players? And to be honest, beating West Ham, beating Newcastle, beating Liverpool, and beating City, on paper, we didn't necessarily do that with the strongest starting 11s. But is it necessarily the strongest of foundations to have these players as key players? If they're squad players, rotation options, they give us something different, great. As Arteta said, we have one of the finished squads and it's surely being tested. On the difference between the maturity against Newcastle and the game against Porto, this is normally described like this because of the result. If Martinelli puts that ball through to Saka and Saka scores, what happens? This is football. You give it away and he puts it in one corner and we have to manage the game better. It wasn't that. We had a lot of courage to defend the way we did because we were incredibly good against Porto, but we didn't have enough courage to do what we've done today with the ball, and that was the most disappointing thing. So the boys have to have courage in any scenario. Obviously, the Emirates, we've had some great times at the Emirates, and recently we've gone to Burnley and West Ham and dealt with things, but we need to be moving like that away from home. To be honest, this season, Spurs was very frustrating. Fulham was very frustrating, but the disappointments have been on the road, really and truly. You know, I was disappointed at Stamford Bridge. I wasn't disappointed at Anfield, but considering the fact that we took the lead and didn't get all 3 points, you could obviously say that. Fulham away was terrible, and I don't need to remind you lot of that. Newcastle, I think the performance was there, but it's a results-driven business. We didn't get the 3 points. The same could be said for, well, the same is said for Aston Villa. Major disappointment at the Emirates would probably be West Ham, if I'm completely honest with you. West Ham in the league, because we should have won about 20-0 there, but we didn't. So, yeah, I think Arteta's bang on. On the atmosphere, really impressive. You know, the club banged that on and really tried to make that a thing. And, you know, the players put in the performance levels that the fans deserve. Really impressive. Thank you so much to everyone that turned that around with that attitude and that energy. Thanks for the club as well, because it's pushing that to generate as well this atmosphere at home, and it makes a huge impact on the team. So thank you. On what his role is in creating the atmosphere, we want the best club in the world, and to be the best club in the world, we have to have the best stadium and the best atmosphere in the world, that's for sure. Then he said the character, the personality, and the fact that the team always wants more. In sport, things happen for a reason, and you have to learn from that. If you feel sorry for yourself from 3 days ago, what is this? It's learning. We do that, and we cannot cry because of the result. We have to understand why that happened and to be better. That was the energy, and it was in the back of the players that they have done it. Fair enough, people. Moving on. It's only right we hear what JORGINHO has had to say, people. It's a secret, only joking. I think we just kept working hard because in the end we were creating, but we weren't finishing the chances that we were creating. When asked on what's happening in the buy, that's something clicked. The connection between the players, with the staff, with the fans, it's just an amazing feeling altogether. And then things turn your way. The atmosphere at the Emirates is just a pleasure to be here. We go out there and we give our best. We work hard, and then we're really enjoying this journey together. He then went on to say, all I do is try and make things easier for my team, which he definitely did for the players to obviously, you know, it's almost him and Declan Rice enhanced everyone's performance. When I go out there, I can do that. I'm really happy because to see the team pushing and scoring goals and having fun, enjoying being together on the pitch with these fans, it's just incredible. I think you could see today the team was really hungry, and we showed out there that we wanted to go hard, and that's what we did. I'm very happy for the team because we worked so hard, everyone, and I think we fully deserved it. We are just all very happy. Odegaard said we're living the dream, people. He has said we are living the dream. We all dreamed of being here. You see every week how competitive it is, and that's where we want to be. We want to fight for trophies. I try to lead by example and do the right things. I'm always pushing the players around me. I understand that every player is different, but I still try to get the best out of everyone. The year before, we missed out the Champions League and came back stronger. Last year, we missed out on the title. Now's the time to show we have learned. Every time we play, we are so excited. He then went on to say today, obviously, when we played Newcastle, we were so aggressive. JORGINHO and Declan were good at threading between the lines. That was the difference. You want to play in the final third and create things all the time. We've been playing a few different ways, and I've been dropping a bit more, and JORGINHO and Declan have done that today. I played a little higher up. Is there any coincidence? You know, we sorted out the midfield. Odegaard was conducting, and you saw a couple, you know, JORGINHO got a pre-assist. You know, Havertz's movement was good. Obviously, Declan Rice was nicking the ball further up the field. As I said earlier, Declan Rice pulling up to that left-hand side. You saw a better Kyrgios and Martinelli, really and truly. You know, the relationships over the pitch were good. But again, I guess it depends on the conditions. We just wanted to come here and make a good game and give the fans a good game. Don't think anyone can disagree with that. Allegedly, Liverpool and Arsenal are among the clubs to receive a boost in their pursuit of Fulham star Paulinho. Apparently, the Cottagers people have opened the door to allowing the 28-year-old to depart in the summer following Tony Khan's recent comments. He has said sensible offers for Paulinho will be considered and admitted there's a huge market for their star midfielder. As you know, he signed a fresh contract in September until 2028, and apparently, you know, they have an option to extend it by a further year, so essentially 2029. That was obviously engineered so that, you know, he gets what he's worth. It makes it harder to prize him away. Was linked with Bayern Munich, still consistently linked with other clubs, people, and they will probably make a sizable profit on the 20 million they initially spent on him. Newcastle and Aston Villa apparently lead the race for Emile Smith-Rowe. It's believed both sides could approach the Gunners about the 23-year-old if he's made available this summer. As you know, in January, he was linked with Aston Villa, but it was all the talk of a Newcastle loan, people, and actually a West Ham loan. He'll have 2 years left on his deal in the summer. So is it just me for thinking maybe, you know, the club could say we might not get the money we may have got for Smith-Rowe when he was playing and was one of the stars, but it might be that thing. And for Smith-Rowe, does he want to leave, really and truly? We'll have to see, people. He's got a contract until 2026, so you'd imagine this is a pivotal 2 years to 18 months, not just in his future, but his Arsenal future. Allegedly, Arsenal are keeping tabs on Brighton star Ivan Ferguson ahead of the summer transfer window. We're looking at strikers. It doesn't make sense not to be looking at him. It doesn't mean there's an impending move. We've been more aggressively linked with Tony and Osimhen, as you lot know. It's believed the Gunners are looking at multiple central forward targets who could slot into the team from the start of next season, and the 19-year-old is among those shortlisted. Arsenal have been widely linked with a move for Brentford ace Ivan Toney, but this is far from a done deal, and he has many other suitors. The North London High Flyers are assessing alternative options capable of fitting into Mikel Arteta's star-studded side. Talent spotters at the Emirates rate Ferguson very highly, with sources telling Football Insider they regard him as a huge talent capable of playing in the Champions League and developing into a world-beating number 9. He's going to cost a lot of money from Brighton, people. He's got 6 goals and 2 assists across 19 league outings. People might say, yeah, I hear that for all his potential, but does he make us better from the moment he steps in the club? In the same vein Declan Rice did. and he got a hat-trick against Newcastle in September. He's also got interest from a couple of other clubs, including Man United. And he signed a new deal last April, before signing a new deal 7 months later. His new deal runs until summer of 2029. As we know, Brighton are difficult to do business with anyway, so it's going to cost a lot of money in that regard. Apparently, Edu has been speaking about identifying a new striker. People, he said, I understand what the fans are asking for, but we have already our ideas, our targets. We plan a lot ahead for what we're going to face. I'd be worried if we're not scoring a lot of goals, if we're not creating chances, which is the opposite. I think we're creating a lot, we're scoring a lot. The plan is to every year try to get better. I think we're in a good moment. Let's see if we can keep improving, people, which is crazy, which I want to keep hearing from Edu. To be fair, there's a lot going on at the moment. My role, I have to look after not only the first team, also look after the women, the academy as well. Of course, now we're starting to plan ahead for the summer of recruitments. Yeah, a lot of things are happening and we're really enjoying, folks. In relation to Zerkzee, who plays for Bologna, Dean Jones has said, I do think Zerkzee can become a potential target for the Premier League. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest, to see him land. He's made a really good switch this season and it's helping him fulfill his potential. That was really important to him because there was a danger of him going down the wrong path in terms of fulfilling what he's capable of. He's really going to have to consider which Premier League club he would choose because he doesn't want to be stuck on the bench at this age. You've got to choose a club where you're going to be playing regularly. I would question whether that's going to be plausible for him at Old Trafford, and it might be what he looks for, a club that are going to deep in the 3 or 4 competitions, but also with the potential to mix up the front line. Somewhere like Arsenal, we've seen that's probably more of a possibility there somewhere than somewhere like Manchester United. And obviously, allegedly, we're still interested in Ivan Toney. We don't know if they're going to get 80 to 100 million asking price because he'll have 12 months left on his deal in the summer. Allegedly, Arsenal reportedly interested in signing Barcelona attackers Ferran Torres and Rafinha in the summer. 2 players that allegedly have been made available from Barcelona, 2 players that Mikel Arteta has wanted. We tried to get Rafinha. He's worked with Ferran Torres at Manchester City, and they're fairly adaptable. Barcelona could be selling these players. Apparently, the La Liga giants are going to be open to offers for both men as a result of their current financial troubles, people. So is there legitimacy in this rumor, or is it a thing where literally you're just getting 1 and 1 and equals 100, or just a case of creative journalism, people? You know, that's irrelevant to us because they hurt us there with Porto. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on not only the Arsenal versus Newcastle game. What did you make of Jorginho? What did you make of Kai Havertz up front? Do you reckon he's the first choice striker? What did you make of Martinelli's performance? What do you make of our Premier League aspirations, as well as everything else we've considered and discussed here? Please make sure you're commenting, you're hitting the like button. We're trying to get to 70,000. Bless up.